favor, go ahead and step on out for me.
Why?
How do you know him?
It's a friend of mine. I've known him for like a month.
A month?
What did I do?
You're going for prostitution, all right?
What? No.
Yes. Just got 10 cents.
Why are you all wet? You wearing a bathing suit or is there what is that right there?
On April 28, 2022, the Daytona Beach Police Department conducted an undercover prostitution operation targeting street-level sex work along the Ridgewood Avenue corridor. Officers with the problem-oriented policing unit had arranged controlled encounters with individuals suspected of engaging in prostitution. This body camera footage captures the arrest of a 29-year-old woman who would later be identified as Miranda following what police describe as an agreement to exchange sexual acts for $60. The interaction that follows will reveal not just a criminal arrest, but a human story of addiction, motherhood, and the intersection of law enforcement with public health crisis. The initial contact begins as officers approach the vehicle. Notice the officer's tactical positioning. He maintains distance from the vehicle door while ordering the occupant to exit. This is a standard officer safety protocol allowing reaction time if the subject produces a weapon. Under Florida Statute Section 901.15, officers may make warrantless arrests when they have probable cause to believe a misdemeanor has been committed in their presence. Here, the undercover operation has already established probable cause for prostitution charges.
How do you know him?
It's a friend of mine. I've known him for like a month.
A month?
The subject asks repeatedly why she's being detained. Florida law does not require officers to immediately explain the reason for arrest, though they must do so promptly after securing the scene. The officer's response about a warrant appears to be investigative deception, a tactic permitted under Florida law to maintain officer safety during the initial detention phase. The subject identifies herself as Miranda and states she's known the other individual for approximately 1 month.
For what?
Do you have the...
My right? What am I going to do?
Hold on. Just wait. It's okay, right?
As the arrest proceeds, officers conduct what's known as a search incident to arrest. Under Chumel v. California, officers may search an arrestee's person and immediate area for weapons and evidence. The female officer's arrival to conduct the search follows best practices for cross-gender searches, though not legally required in Florida. The subject's repeated questions about the charges reflect genuine confusion, suggesting she may not have realized she was dealing with undercover officers during the initial encounter.
Yes.
Oh my God.
What's your name?
At 2 minutes and 56 seconds, the officer clearly states they charge prostitution. Under Florida Statute 796.07, offering to engage in sexual activity for money constitutes a misdemeanor of the second degree for a first offense. The statute specifically criminalizes not just the act itself, but the offer or agreement to engage in prostitution. The officer's statement that the deal involves $60 will become part of the probable cause affidavit. The subject's shock at learning the charge appears genuine. Florida's prostitution statute requires proof of an offer or agreement to exchange sexual acts for something of value. Undercover operations typically involve officers posing as customers or sex workers, with the agreement itself constituting the completed crime. No actual sexual contact needs to occur for charges to be filed.
That's hers too.
Officers proceed with standard booking procedures. The radio transmission requesting a case number and documenting transport represents mandatory protocol. Florida law requires departments to document all prisoner transports with starting and ending mileage to protect against allegations of misconduct during transport. The case number 7370 will track this arrest through the judicial
Hey
system.
Justin, we're gonna make the call and everything, right? That correct?
Put it out on the radio.
Channel 2 or teletype?
The incident that happened at Shreve and North.
That's channel 2 or teletype?
Alright, we'll go on channel 2 and do that.
It was $60 for head and sex.
With channel 2, right?
Yeah.
Radar alerts. 3 November 45 seconds. Traffic stop.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Hold on.
The Miranda warning administration begins at approximately 5 minutes. The Supreme Court's decision in Miranda versus Arizona requires these warnings before custodial interrogation. The officer reads each component: right to remain silent statements can be used in court, right to an attorney, and appointment of counsel if indigent. Importantly, the subject verbally acknowledges understanding these rights. This verbal acknowledgement captured on body camera will prevent later challenges to the admissibility of any statements she makes.
Mason Drive. My starting mileage is 771.
Still $100 in Fairview.
Fairview. My apologies. The 200 block of Fairview.
Can't be happening right now.
That's your location you're going to?
That was my starting point. My end point is Basin in Beach.
Been a while for you, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do. I don't know if they want it to be just. You know, they don't want. I don't know if they want it on the radio or not.
We've always done it on the radio.
I've never done it on the radio. We've always done it on the computer. Miranda.
Personal questions begin merging during transport.
Do you know
The
your
subject
rights?
reveals she's been in Daytona Beach for 3 years. More significantly, she volunteers information about addiction without prompting. Her statement about battling addiction for 3 years provides critical context. Under Florida law, addiction itself is not a crime per Robinson versus California, but drug-related behaviors remain prosecutable. However, this information becomes relevant for diversion programs.
Do you understand that? Did you say yes or no? Okay. All right, that's good. How old are you? You're born in 94? What school did you go to? How long have you been in Daytona? Say what? 3 years?
How do you? I want to get your name first. What's your first name? Miranda. What's your last? And what's your date of birth? 1294. 3 November 46 Central. Did you put it under yours?
Yeah. Is that you?
Can you show me how?
The subject's disclosure that heroin is her drug of choice represents a pivotal moment. Florida has recognized the connection between substance abuse and prostitution, particularly in street-level sex work. The Volusia County State Attorney's Office operates the SMART program specifically for cases where addiction drives criminal behavior. This voluntary admission, while not directly relevant to the prostitution charge, will likely influence prosecutorial decisions about diversion eligibility.
Before? Let me.
The CH loop goes to.
CH needs to go to November 23. Yeah, 23.
Hey Justin, you got your computer up? I'll send her the CH to you. 3 November 46 Central.
Well, we're gonna go. So what's gonna happen now is we're gonna go.
Can you
I know.
run a CH?
We're almost to where we need to go. We're
Just hold on a second. And can you send it to 3 November 23's screen, please? Appreciate it.
what? Yeah, they're gonna let you smoke a cigarette. So you're gonna go talk to some people and
3 November 23. 3 and 1.
they're gonna talk to you and ask you some questions. So just be honest with them and you know we can figure this out. Okay? Probably.
Get my daughter at 4:30.
Where at?
Please, my baby.
How long have you been battling addiction?
Why didn't you go there?
Ace?
Oh, yeah.
3 years? What's your drug of choice? Miranda?
The officer's explanation of how the arrest occurred provides insight into undercover operations. It states, someone we know made a deal with the subject. This refers to the undercover officer who posed as a customer. These operations, while legal, raise ethical questions about resource allocation and whether arrest-focused approaches effectively address the underlying issues driving street-level prostitution.
Well, unfortunately, you made a deal with someone that we know, and that's how it works. Do you have any cigarettes in your purse? Well, we'll see if we can find some. Can you call Mary, them over here?
Hey, Mary.
Miranda.
A crucial moment occurs when the subject mentions her daughter. The rock she carries bears significance. It represents her 19-month-old child. This humanizing detail illustrates the complexity these cases often involve. Parents facing prostitution charges may lose custody or face Department of Children and Families involvement. The officer's lack of response to this information maintains professional boundaries while avoiding false reassurances.
Does this rock mean something to you?
This is my daughter.
Turn face for it real quick.
She's gonna switch right there. Here's these people that are about to come talk to you.
Alright, Miranda, you got anything on you I need to know about? I mean, right down to a life kind of thing.
Please be honest.
Sucked in your bra, I don't want to go. Nothing?
The search becomes more intensive as officers discover something concealed on the subject's person. The subject claims it's toilet paper, but officers express skepticism. Florida law permits thorough searches incident to arrest, including removal of items hidden in undergarments if done by same-gender officers in a professional manner. The subject's distress during the search reflects the invasive nature of these procedures, though they remain legally permissible.
Walk your feet back to me. There you go.
Is your camera still on?
Yeah. For the transport, I don't know.
What's
What
today?
are you wearing a bathing suit or what is that right there? Why do you told me? No? Just stop. Just tell me.
Is
Are
it
you
dope?
married or something?
No, it's no dope, I promise.
That's toilet paper.
I gotta pull it out.
The officers complete the search without finding controlled substances, despite initial suspicions. The subject's wetness is attributed to sweating consistent with Florida's humid climate and the stress of arrest. The absence of drugs is notable. While addiction and prostitution often co-occur, not every arrest involves possession charges. This may benefit the subject in prosecution decisions.
I'm tired. What's today's date? 28th?
Drop the paper on the ground. Just drop it on the ground.
Oh.
I let that bitch fly away.
Transport procedures continue with proper documentation. The radio communications regarding starting mileage and destination serve multiple purposes: officer safety through dispatch, awareness, legal documentation of transport, and protection against allegations of misconduct. The mention of Basin and Beach Streets indicates transport to the Daytona Beach Police Department for processing rather than direct booking at the county jail.
Why would you do that?
Hey, is it Miranda what?
Alright, I'm done. Hey, just get a...
I got back on the radio. We're headed back out.
From Basin to Valor. And like I said, adult female and 773 starting mileage. Thank you.
So was it 7 after 21?
During transport, a moment of humanity emerges. The subject apologizes, to which the officer responds, "Don't be sorry to us." He adds that people make mistakes and it's not too late to turn around. This interaction demonstrates what experts call procedural justice, treating arrestees with dignity despite the circumstances. Research indicates such treatment can influence defendants' receptiveness to intervention programs.
How old's your daughter? 19 months.
Copy a shoplifting.
The lights?
Dollar General 2745 north of Land.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Suspect left in a red Ford Ranger, Ford Type 05, Alpha Alpha Lima Romeo. Suspect stole about $300 worth of cleaning products. Ongoing issue. Tax coming back
The subject's concern about picking up her daughter at 4:30 underscores the collateral consequences of arrest. Beyond criminal penalties, parents face immediate childcare crises. Florida law requires notification of emergency contacts for minor children, though the footage doesn't capture whether such arrangements were made. These family impacts often influence prosecutorial discretion in offering diversion programs.
The sports store? Yeah, it's a Lotus.
Was that what that was?
Why are we taking her about?
So they can talk to her. What? The van, yeah, it's where we're going. Yeah, before you get to the jail, they'll let you call. Yeah.
As the transport concludes, officers maintain professional demeanor while completing required documentation. The entire encounter, lasting just over 60 minutes, represents a routine prostitution arrest informed by the human elements, addiction, motherhood, poverty, illustrate why jurisdictions increasingly view these cases through a public health lens, rather than purely criminal enforcement.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe. We usually don't do anything with the bonds. It's already, preset. We don't have anything to do with it when it gets to the jail.
The judge ends up outside.
As the transport concludes, officers maintain professional demeanor while completing required documentation. The entire encounter, lasting just over 60 minutes, represents a routine prostitution arrest informed by the human elements, addiction, motherhood, poverty, illustrate why jurisdictions increasingly view these cases through a public health lens, rather than purely criminal enforcement. Now let's evaluate each party's conduct in this incident. The Daytona Beach Police officers receive a B+. They demonstrated professional conduct throughout following proper procedures while maintaining appropriate boundaries. The search was conducted legally under Chimel v. California standards, Miranda warnings were properly administered, and tactical positioning showed good officer safety awareness. However, the initial deception about a warrant could confuse subjects about the basis for arrest, and there was limited attempt at de-escalation or discussion of available resources. Overall, the officers conducted a lawful professional arrest while maintaining human dignity under challenging circumstances. Miranda, the subject, receives a B-. Despite facing an extremely stressful arrest situation, she maintained relative composure and compliance throughout the encounter. She cooperated with all officer commands without resistance, truthfully answered questions about her circumstances, and voluntarily disclosed her addiction issues. While the underlying conduct that led to her arrest reflects poor choices likely driven by addiction, her behavior during the arrest itself demonstrated good judgment by avoiding escalation. Her successful completion of the SMART diversion program 2 months later validates that her cooperation during this encounter helped qualify her for treatment rather than incarceration. The Daytona Beach Police Department receives an A- for their institutional approach to this case. While utilizing traditional arrest tactics for prostitution enforcement, the department's coordination with the SMART diversion program demonstrates evolution from purely punitive approaches to problem-solving strategies. The presence of body cameras ensured transparency and accountability. The subsequent referral to treatment programs recognizes addiction as a driving factor rather than just criminal behavior. The only area for improvement remains the resource allocation question, whether undercover operations targeting vulnerable populations represent the best use of limited police resources. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our second channel, Audit the Court, for even more police interaction and courtroom content.